Lieutenant Hopkins says anytime you reach for the shotguns, you're either going to end up dead or wearing a citation. So I guess...
It's okay, Ralph. You did well in there. Glad you had my back. Man couldn't ask for a better partner.
When it first released in 2011, LA Noire was an anomaly. Its facial capture tech was an innovative showcase of animation, and its focus on slower-paced interrogation puzzles widely contrasted the big-budget shooters of the time. 6 years later, the game has surprisingly managed to make its way onto Switch. While a few sacrifices were made in performance and graphical fidelity to get LA Noire running, the ambitious spirit of this stylistic 1940s-era detective adventure remains.
Can you tell us anything about this gun?
Smith & Wesson, Model 27, registered Magnum. Chambered for .357, nickel-plated with pearl grips. Same gun used by General Patton.
You're not suggesting he's the owner?
No, I'm not.
You seem to know a lot about the weapon.
I ought to. I sold it.
LA Noire's principal 21 cases are all present, including all its DLC cases. As budding LAPD detective Cole Phelps, you spend the bulk of your time gathering evidence, interrogating suspects, and making accusations. Phelps is a fascinating yet morally flawed character whose checkered past is compelling to see unfold as the story goes on, and the cases you solve remain interesting and well-paced, balancing slower, more meticulous investigative moments with brief shootouts and vehicular and on-foot chases. On Switch, the game controls as well as it did on previous generation consoles, especially when playing docked with a Pro controller. It also offers motion and touch controls. Motion controls allow you to use the right Joy-Con to control the camera and physically manipulate objects you pick up, while with touch controls, you command Phelps where to go and what to investigate by simply tapping the screen. However, both control schemes don't feel as functional as playing with a traditional gamepad setup. While LA Noire's story and varied pacing are some of its most exceptional aspects, where it truly shines is in its interrogation sequences. Armed with your intellect and the wealth of evidence you collect during your investigations, questioning suspects and seeing through their facial tics to expose their secrets lead to many of the game's most tense and captivating moments. The facial animations hold up, displaying a level of realism that's still impressive. And with top-notch performances from its facial capture actors, interrogations are just as absorbing and believable.
Why did you do it, Mr. Kalu?
Gage. He's in the Chamber of Commerce. He's in with all those momsers. He blocked every proposal I ever put forward. Kike this and kike that. He's been trying to ruin my business for years.
In a subtle change from the original, interrogation options have been changed from truth, doubt, and lie to good cop, bad cop, and accuse. The new naming scheme helps to give you a better understanding of Cole's behavior towards a suspect's testimony, which was difficult to gauge in the original. The renewed context is particularly useful when a suspect is playing coy, where it makes sense that using the more forceful bad cop approach would root out more information.
If your baby is born in prison, Anna, the corrections officers will take it from you. You will see your son or daughter through a metal grate for half an hour a week.
However, there are situations where the new terminology isn't specific enough. This is apparent when responding with good cop, where the option seems to lean more towards believing the suspect rather than following proper police protocol. Despite this occasional issue, interrogations are consistently rewarding, often requiring critical thinking and sharp judgment to complete perfectly. LA Noire's finer qualities are maintained, but its notable shortcomings also persist. Movement is a bit clunky during shootouts, and there are still plenty of useless filler objects to sift through during crime scene investigations. But the most glaring issue lies in the game's recreation of 1940s-era Los Angeles, which is authentic but doesn't offer much to do outside of main missions and random street crime activities. These issues don't do much to detract from the experience at large, especially considering how well the game runs. Visuals have taken a slight downgrade compared to the original version, sporting new jagged edges, fluctuating textures, and noticeably weaker draw distances and dynamic lighting effects. However, these issues are less apparent when playing the game undocked, where it runs and looks the best. On the other hand, frame rate maintains a steady 30 frames per second, only drastically dipping when surrounded by multiple NPCs or vehicles while on foot. The game consistently performs well during the moments where it matters, like during investigations, interrogations, and car chases.
The next 16-year-old I have to peel off the sidewalk, you're calling the mother. I've had enough of those to last me a lifetime.
Even considering LA Noire's age, it's a wonder that the game can be played on Switch. While nowhere near as technically striking as seeing Doom run on the console, there's still something special about playing what was once such an ambitious game on last-generation consoles in the palm of your hand. And the game lends itself well to the platform. The bite-sized length of missions make it a great fit for playing on the go. If sharp visuals and higher frame rate are huge factors in your enjoyment, then you're better off playing LA Noire on PS4 and Xbox One, which sport added bells and whistles that elevate the game's performance. But if you're charmed by the idea of experiencing it portably, then LA Noire on Switch comes recommended. It may not work the best under pressure, but it's well worth replaying or experiencing for the first time on Nintendo's convertible console.
This is your chance. Don't fail me.